All right, so today we're going to be looking at linear inequalities. So a linear inequality, what is it? Well, that's basically something that has a greater than or less than sign, so greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So here's a couple examples of what's a linear inequality. So if an equation, a linear equation has an equal sign, an inequality has a greater than or less than sign. So one thing you want to do when you have a linear equality in the coordinate plane is they're going to give you a point, and they're going to want to know, is this point a solution to this inequality? So in order to do that, we're going to plug in x and y. So in this equation, remember, in an ordered pair, the first value is always x, and the second value is always y. So we're going to take this inequality here, and we're going to plug in 2 for x. So we'd have 3 times 2 plus 4, and we're going to put in -3 for the y. And we want to know, is that greater than or equal to 8? So if it is, then it's a solution. If it's not, then it's not a solution. So 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times -3 is -12. If we add 6 plus -12, we get -6. So we want to know, is this statement true? Is -6 greater than or equal to 8? No, it is not. So that means that this is not a solution. All right, so here's another example. Is 3, 5 a solution to y is less than -3x plus 4? So again, we're going to take our point. Let me try getting a different color here. So our x is 3 and our y is 5. So we're going to plug in y, the 5, and we want to check, is that less than -3 times, we're going to replace x with 3 plus 4. So we have -3 times 3 is -9 plus 4, which is -9 plus 4 is -5. So is 5 less than -5? No. So again, that is not a solution. Donna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay, I'll keep going then. All right, so, oops. All right, so now we're going to look at graphing an inequality. So we want to graph y is greater than negative 2x plus 3. So there's a couple ways you can do this, but we're going to use slope-intercept form to graph. So if you remember in slope-intercept form, you have y equals mx plus b. The number in front of your x is always your slope, and the other number is your y-intercept. So we're always going to plot the y-intercept first. So in this case, it's positive 3. So we're going to go on the y-axis, go 1, 2, up to 3. And then our slope is negative 2. So we want to write that as a fraction. So negative 2, we can write as negative 2 over 1. And remember, slope is rise over run. So 2 means you're going to go down 2. And we're going to run 1, which is positive. So that means to the right. So there's 2 points. You could do it again if you want, down 2, 1. And then you're going to look at the sign. If it's greater than or less than, it's going to be a dotted line. And if it would have the line under it, like greater than or equal, less than equal to, greater than or equal to, it'd be solid. But if it doesn't have the line under it, it's dotted. And then you have to shade. So y is greater than would be above the line. So you'd shade to the right. So that would be your graph. When you have an inequality, you need to remember to shade one side or the other. Another way you can decide what side to shade is to test a point, like 0, 0. So if you plugged in, just like we were doing before, 0, 0, 0 for y, and then x would be negative 2, x is 0. So is that true? So that's not true. So that means this side over here is not true. So that's why you'd shade the other. All right, so let's do another one. Again, y is less than or equal to 3x minus 2. So we're going to use slope-intercept form. So our slope is 3. If we write that as a fraction, it's 3 over 1. And our y-intercept is negative 2 because it's a minus. So that's really the same as plus negative. So it's negative 2. So we're going to plot negative 2. And then our slope is 3 over 1. So it's a positive 3. So it's always rise over run. So we're going to rise 3. And a positive 1, we're going to run 1 to the right. So there's your 2 points.
Mommy.
It would be a solid line because it's, see now it has the line under it, so it can equal it. So there is your line. And then you're going to shade. Well, now since it's less than.
No.
Sorry, my little boy is here. Sorry, I had to get my little boy out of here. All right, so again, y is less than. So less than, we're going to shade below the line. All right, and then I will do one more, and then I'll let you ask any questions that you have. So y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x minus 2. So our slope is 1/3. Our y-intercept is negative 2. Now notice our slope is already a fraction, 1/3, so we can keep it as 1/3. So we're going to plot our y-intercept of negative 2. Our slope is 1/3, so you're going to go up 1, right 3. It would be a solid line because it can equal it. And then since it's greater than, we're going to shade above. So that's just a quick review of graphing inequalities and testing solutions to points. So now I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have, any So I'm going to unmute you, Anna. There, sorry. So are there any questions you need help with or want me to go over?
No.
What course are you in?
I'm not in this course yet.
Are you in a math class, in any math yet or no?
No.
Okay. You just thought you'd pop in to see what it's like?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you could fill up. All right, then I'm going to move on to the next section, which is a review.
They need you now more than they need me.
So now today I'm going to look at reviewing fraction, multiply, and divide fractions. So first we're going to look at multiplying fractions. So when you multiply fractions, basically all you do is you multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. So 3/4 times 2/3, we'd multiply 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12. And then whenever you have a fraction, you want to look and reduce it to lowest terms if you can. So we can reduce 6/12 because 6 goes into 6 and 12. So 6 goes into 6 once and 6 goes into 12 twice. So reduce, that would be 1/2. All right, again, we're multiplying. So we have -2/3 times 4/5. So we're going to multiply the top. -2 times 4 is -8. And 3 times 5 is 15. So we have -8/15. And you want to see if you can reduce that. Well, we can't because there's nothing that goes into 8 and 15. 3/6 times 4/8. So 3 times 4 is 12. 6 times 8 is 48. And then we can reduce this because 12 would go into both of those. So 12 goes into 12 once and 12 goes into 48 4 times. So reduce, that would be 1/4. All right, if you want to try, sorry, this example, I'll like give you a minute to try it. We'll go over it together. All right, so again, here we go. We're going to multiply. So the top, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And we can reduce that because 2 goes into both of those. So 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 1/3 is the answer. And then on the bottom, 5 times -2 is -10. 8 times 3 is 24. And again, we can reduce this because 2 goes into both 10 and 24. So 2 goes into 10 5 times, but it's a -5. And 2 goes into 24 12. So that would be your answer. Then dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So what it means is you're going to keep number, so a half, we're going to keep that. Instead, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal, you just flip it. So the reciprocal of 2/3 would be 3/2. So we do 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. And we can't reduce that. All right, 4/5 divided by 1/2. Again, we're going to keep the first fraction as 4/5. Instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which you just flip it. That would be 2/1. So if we multiply, we get 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 1 is 5, 8/5, or that's the same as 1 because 5 goes into 8 one time and you have 3 left over, so 1 3/5. All right, one more, and then again, I'll answer any questions anyone has. So we have 3/8 divided by 2/4. So we're going to keep the 3/8. Instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 4/2. Hi, Sharon. Sharon. So 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 2 is 16. And we can reduce that because 4 would go into both those numbers. So 4 goes into 12 3 times, and into 4 goes into 16 4 times. And then this last one, when you have mixed numbers, so like 5 1/2, when you divide those, you want to change them to an improper fraction, which means you do 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 1 is 11, so that's the same as 11/2. And then change this, so you do 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11/4. So now we can do the same thing we were just doing. So we'd have 11/2. Instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which you would flip that. So you get 44/22. And you could reduce that because 22 goes into both of them. So you could have 2/1 or 2. So that was just a quick review of multiplying and dividing fractions. And now I'm going to open the floor back up for any questions that you have on any math concept. So if you want to type in the chat box, let me know if you have a question and I'll unmute you. You have any questions? Do you have any questions? There, now you're on. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
I really need help with variables. I'm thinking I'm talking about the fraction variables.
Okay, like, so variables are like X and Y.
Yes.
So what are you solving equations?
Yes, that's what it is, equation.
Okay, I'm bringing up my whiteboard again. All right, sorry, I just have a. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So are you talking about like something like this? 3x.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, so are you in algebra?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So basically what you want to think of this is when you have an equation, it's called equation with equal sign. You want to solve for x, you want to get the variable all by itself. So this is called a variable.
Okay.
So we want to isolate it or get it all by itself. So first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of anything that's added or subtracted. So see how we have +5?
Yes.
We want to get it out of there. So to get it out of there, you're going to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of add?
Subtract it.
Good. So we're going to take away 5, and you want to think of this as a scale, like a balanced scale. So whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other, otherwise it's going to tip. So if we subtract 5 on this side of the left side of the equals, we got to do it on the right.
Okay.
So now we're going to say, okay, nothing happened to 3x, so down. And then we have +5 minus 5. Well, what's 5 minus 5?
5 minus 5 is 0.
So those cancel out. So those are gone. We have the equal sign. And then what's 11 minus 5?
6.
So now we're down to 3x equals 6. So we're getting closer to getting x by itself. So now we have 3x. That means 3 times x. So if we want to undo times, what's the opposite of multiplication?
Divide.
Good. So if we want to get rid of that 3, we're going to divide by 3. And if we do it on one side, we got to do it on the other. So 3 divided by 3 is
1.
1. So we have 1x, which is really just x. And then 6 divided by 3.
It's going to be 2.
Answer is equals 2.
Okay.
Yep. Because now let's we want to check to see if you're right. We're going to go back and we're going to put in 2 for x. So if we do 3 times, now x we're saying is 2. 3 times 2 is what?
6.
6, good. And now +5.
Is equal to 11.
So see, it worked.
Yeah, I do. You're right. So that just made it so much simpler than what I was doing to myself.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's
I understand it now.
So I'll make up another one.
Okay.
So we have 7x minus 4 equals 31. So we want to get x by itself. We have a number that is subtracted, -4. So if we want to get that out of there, we got to do the opposite. What would be
So we
the
gotta
opposite
add
of-
4.
Whenever you do it to one side, you got to do the other. So we have 7x minus 4 plus 4. Those cancel each other out, right?
Yes.
Those are gone. 31 plus 4 is 35. And now we have 7x equals 35. We want the 7 out of there. So the opposite of multiply is
It's divide.
divide by 7. Whatever we do on one, we got to do on the other. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So basically those cancel out. And then 35 divided by 7 is 5. So x equals 5. And if we want to check, we go back to our original. We're going to put 5 for x. So 7 times 5 is 35. Minus 4 is 31. It works.
Yep, it adds up. Now I know how to do it. I think I'll pass my assignments now.
Good. Anything else you need help with?
No, that was my main problem, getting those together.
Okay. If there's one that you want to, one of the harder ones that you have, or have any that you have to like this?
With it. Aggravated robbery, obstructing justice, kidnapping, and assault. It's all on file in Cuyahoga County. Court documents.
Oh, yeah.
The client ultimately pleaded justice charge. Now, Ryan is accused of aggravated murder in the deadliest
Hello.
South Collinwood
Couple new
neighborhood.
All right, so like this one, when you have parentheses, have you seen those?
Yes, I
Okay, so whenever you have parentheses, you have to distribute. You remember learning this?
Police were called to
Yeah.
Alhambra. That's where they
but I be having a problem right here too.
Okay, so first thing, whenever you have parentheses, you want to distribute, which means you're going to take this number outside and you're going to multiply by everything in here.
in 24 hours
You're
after
going to
the
do
April
2 times 3x.
Which is gonna be 6x.
Yep. And then you're going to do 2 times 4.
Is 8.
Gary Gonzalez says with the help of investigators.
And then we're not going to do anything on the right because it's not too long as to what's in front.
We were able to track down the female.
And now see how we're down to 1 like we just did?
Yeah. Okay, you broke it down. Okay. That's where I had the problem at, because instead of just doing distributing the 2 into the parentheses, I also do it on the 14. So I mess myself up.
Yeah, only in the parentheses.
Okay.
So now, if we were to do this, we would subtract 8, right?
Yes.
Cleveland Avenue Northwest. That was around 1:30 this
Then those
morning
would
when deputies
cancel.
showed up at the home. They found
14
31-year-old
minus 8.
Brian Lamole shot to death.
6.
Right now, no
How
word
do
on
we
any
get rid of that
suspect.
6
And
right
if
here?
you
We're gonna divide it by
County
6.
Sheriff's Office.
Cleveland Public Power is
X would be 1. 'Cause 6 divided by 6.
Okay.
illegally buying and reselling electricity to customers outside of
I
Cleveland.
got it
The
now.
illuminating company says CPP is under
Now let me do one more thing for you real quick.
buildings in
Okay.
at a lower rate. The company also accuses CPP of taking away their customers by constructing new distribution lines from a solar project in Brooklyn. The city of Cleveland says it cannot comment on ongoing legislation.
A new potentially deadly twist in the opioid epidemic right here in Ohio.
And it is a story that you will only see on News 5. A warning to those buying.
All right, so if we look at this one. So do we have anything to distribute?
Yes, we have to distribute the 2 into the parentheses.
Right, so it goes to the 2x, the 3. Does it go over to the 4?
No.
Once again,
Good.
Fake oxycodone
So you
pills,
have
already proven deadly, are now popping up on the streets of Northeast Ohio.
It does go to the 4?
Here at the Lake County Crime Lab, they've seen cases involving the fake opioid skyrocket 50% in the past 6 months.
if a user is buying these tablets on the street and they legitimately think they're getting oxycodone, and they're not, whatever ingredient is in that tablet could kill them.
Douglas Rohde is the supervisor of chemistry and toxicology at the lab. He's been here nearly 20 years, and he told me fake pills used to be very easy to spot, but not anymore.
Now, the quality is so professional that not even the pharmaceutical companies
2 times 2x.
tablet can tell the difference between what they produce and what's being
So are
produced.
they, can I put anything together on this side?
Crime lab analyzed
No.
pills. They
How about 6 and 4? Could you combine those?
found acetaminophen
Oh, you can add them, right?
or carpet.
Yeah, 'cause they're called light terms. They're the same. They don't have
The black market
variables after them. So we
producing
could do
it
6
either
plus
here
4
in the United States or they're buying them from
is 10, right?
laboratories in
Okay.
Mexico.
Tonight, a
Now
woman
we're down to 1, but you know how to do that.
at the pharmacy.
What we're doing is
We're going to divide the 4. No, first we have to subtract the 10 on both sides.
Very good.
And you're purchasing something that could be deadly.
Then we have 4x equals
New tonight, a health alert in Cuyahoga County. The Board of Health says.
And then we would divide the 4 on both sides.
Second reported case of the virus in Cuyahoga County this year and the 17th in
cancel
Ohio.
out, and 8 divided by 4.
Infected mosquitoes, and the Board of Health is reminding folks this month is the
X
peak
equals
for
2.
infected mosquitoes, so
Yeah.
make sure to use insect repellent.
Yep, and then we can always go back and check.
Hurricane Florence,
Original.
which remains a powerful
X
category
is 2,
four
which we think
from South
it is.
Carolina
2 times 2 is 4.
people have
Plus
now
the
been evacuated as
7.
continues to barrel toward
Multiply it by 2.
the US.
14 plus the 4.
Inches of rain if the storm stalls over the East Coast. This monster hurricane could be the worst in the area since the 1950s. People heading out of town.
So does that help?
Yes, it does. It helps a lot, actually.
Good. I hope you do good on your quiz.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Yes, they are. We cannot overstate the importance of this right here, Rob. It'll take
All right, I'm going to put you on mute, and if you have another question, just type in the box.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi. Is it true? It looks like your name was Truly Blessed. Truly Blessed.
Yes, that's it. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. So do you have any math questions you need help with?
Well, I was just looking at this situation here, and what I discovered, I don't know if this works all the time. Okay, so you have 4x plus 6 plus 4 equals 18. Yeah. So if you say 6 plus 4 equals 10, that leaves a difference of 8. So if you look at the 4, then you would think what number would go with that to make it 8. In other words, I said 4. If there's 8 left, 4 times 2 would be 8. So to me, that would be a good way of getting the answer for the X. I don't know. What do you think?
So, what did you say again?
Okay. So 6 plus 4
is 10, right?
6 plus, yeah. It says my internet connection is unstable. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear me.
I can hear you so far.
Okay. Okay, so 4 times plus 6 plus 4 equals 18. Okay, so we know.
4x.
Yeah, 4x. I said 4 times. I should have said 4x. Okay, so 6 plus 4 equals 10.
Yep.
So we had to find out what the X represent and with the answer being 18. So 6 plus 4 equals 10.
Yeah.
then the difference between the 10 and the 18 is 8.
Yeah.
So we look for and say, well, I'll go with that 4 to equal to 8.
Yeah.
So I'll say 4 times 2 would be 8. So the 8 plus 10 would equal 18. I don't know if that would work all the time.
Right. It
But
works.
did you understand what I said?
Yes. So you're kind of doing some mental math there, like.
Yes.
Yeah. And that will work. Sometimes it gets messy though. Let's say it wasn't a nice whole number.
Yeah.
Like what if it was 2.36?
Then I would be lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
But your math, that's how you're thinking though.
Yeah, but okay.
I'm gonna, my screen's frozen on.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think I can get it right now.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, my screen went away, didn't it?
Oh, okay. So do I need to sign back in?
No, it's I gotta get my screen back.
Okay.
There, can you see it now?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I saw what you were doing. So let me make up another one that's not gonna be so nice.
Wow.
So would you know what to do here?
I'm not that good in math. I would have to really think on it. So we have 3 in the power of 5 times plus 6. So whatever the answer is, it will be 3 times the 5 times minus 4.
Yep.
No?
Yep. You're right.
Okay. Okay. So we have to find out what X is, though. No, I wouldn't know what to do.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think so whenever you have something outside the parentheses, it's called distribute. You remember learning that?
Yes.
So we're going to distribute that 3 to what's in the parentheses. So that means we're going to do 3 times 5x.
Minus 4.
And then you got to do 3 times 4.
4. Okay.
So the 3 only goes to what's in the parentheses. It doesn't go to the 6 here. So we're just going to leave the 6.
Okay.
And then I think you know how to do this. You could combine those. So yeah. Now a lot of people don't like a minus 12, so we could change this to plus a negative. So we have negative 12 plus 6. How much is that?
Negative 12 plus 6 would be negative 6, or it would be
Minus
18.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, minus 6. You're right, because it's negative 12 and positive 6. Okay, so now we have this negative 6 here. We want to figure out what X is. So we want to get this out of there. So we're going to undo it. So to undo it, we're going to add 6. And whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So if we add 6, what's going to happen to these?
It's gonna cancel out.
Right. And so then so that's gone. And then we have to do 20 plus 6. So now we're down to 15 times x equals 26. Well, x is not going to be a nice number. Because 15 times 1, so something. So we want to undo, so this is multiply. So to undo multiply, you divide. So we're going to divide by 15 on both sides. Because what's 15 divided by 15?
That's 0.
No. 15 divided by 15.
It's 0. Oh, 15 divided by 15 is 1.
Good. So we have 1x, which is really just x. And then we have to do 26 divided by 15. Well, you're probably going to use a calculator to get that.
Yeah, or pencil and paper.
You have well, let's do
It would be 15 over
26 divided
26.
by 15.
So I know it's 1.
So 1.7.
Okay, 11 over 15.
So I just used a calculator. It comes out to be 1.73. About.
Why did I get 1 and 11 over 15? Why did I get that?
Well, is that what your calculator said?
Well, actually, I'm using pencil and paper.
Okay, that's right. 1 and 11/15 is right. That's the same thing. I just got the decimal.
Okay.
But see how you had to kind of do the steps on this one because it's not a nice whole number.
Right.
But your idea will work, so you can always try that.
Yeah. I need the easiest and simplest way of doing it. I'm tired of wrecking my brain trying to figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, these is pretty procedural. So once you get it down, they're all pretty much the same.